Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Robin, and today I have a very special reading vlog. So as you know, the past couple of months, except for December when I did my own thing, I've had my friends choose my TBR because I don't want to make decisions. But in having them choose my TBR, I gave them prompts because I couldn't completely let go of control. Now, this month, different. I had no prompts in mind. Brain was empty. And so I had a friend choose prompts from their TBR jar and then pick my TBR from those prompts. The way that I'm just letting go of control with this, I am so nervous, but very excited. And the friend that I have is Monet from Life as Monet. If you are not already subscribed, go check her channel out and subscribe because hello, what are you waiting for? She is super funny, gorgeous, and just has the best commentary on books. So definitely go over to her channel, watch her videos, subscribe, and have yourself a good old time. But I don't know what she chose for me. I'm very excited. So we're gonna watch this together. So let's see what we have in store for us.
Let me just start by saying that I am incredibly excited to be doing this. It's going to be very fun to watch this reading experience. Hopefully the jar is kinder to you than it has been to me in the past. But I do have the added benefit of blaming the prompts if you don't enjoy the books that I end up picking for you. I've given them a good toss around and we're going in for the first pull. Drum roll. I have two in my hand. A book that's set in your country, which would be the US. So there's so many books in your TBR that I could pick from that is set in the US, but I'm gonna pick one that I feel like would bring about a lot of thought-provoking conversation and a book that just has a lot to dissect, and that's gonna be 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I'm pretty sure you already know what this book is about because it's on your TBR. I question the idea of this book being shelved as a romance, so I'll be looking forward to seeing what you think about the book and if you think it qualifies as a true romance story. Going in for the second pull, read a book that's in a series. For this one, I'm gonna select Beartown. I've heard that the book is incredibly emotional and hard-hitting, and I feel like it's gonna go in theme and in alignment with 7 Days in June, so it might be a pretty heavy emotional reading month for you. Going in for the third pull, you need to finish a series. So I'm sorry in advance, but you'll be finishing the City of Brass series. So we're going in for our fourth and possibly final pull. I still haven't decided yet. I'm gonna blind pick a book that you either need to read or unhaul completely. I'm gonna jump to like a page that I'm not on, which is like, let's go to page 3. And I'm just kind of gonna stroll and pick something. Small Angels by Lauren Owen, which is a book that I read like 100 pages of and ended up DNFing because it was not a fun time. So if I'm recommending something to you, it would probably be to unhaul it, but you've already spent your money on it. So by all means, test it out and try it. But you do have a choice here. Either you're gonna read Small Angels or you're gonna unhaul Small Angels. So for my 5th book selection for you, I think that it's very important to have a fun, light, palate cleanser type read throughout the reading month. It seems like you're gonna be very busy with some hard hitters. And so I wanted to pick something light and kind of fun, but also still one that's gonna bring about a lot of conversations. And that's gonna be Charming as a Verb. In this book, we're following Henry. He's a first-generation American that goes to this prestigious academy, and he is a definite fake it till you make it kind of guy. He's literally charming. He can sweep people off his feet with literal words, and everything in his life goes the way that he wants it to because he just uses his words and his gift of gab to make it so. Henry's father has this dream of him going to Columbia University, but when he does his interview exam, he ends up kind of flunking out because he can't tell the interviewer why he wants to go to Columbia and not necessarily his father wanting him to go. And this is the first time in Henry's life where his words actually don't get him where he wants them to go. There's a student student and neighbor that Henry has, and her name is Corinne. And Corinne's mother actually works for Columbia University. When Corinne discovers that Henry has a not so honest dog walking company, she blackmails him into helping her fix her image because she's known as the uptight student at school, and the college that she wants to get into is telling her that she needs to relax and bring some more personality to her application. And Henry sees this as the perfect opportunity to kind of advance his own objectives, and so he agrees to help her. And that is basically the setup for Charming as a Verb. And those are my book picks. For a book that's set in your country, I chose 7 Days in June. For you to read a book in a series, I chose Beartown by Frederick Bachman. For you to finish a series, I chose the David Bad trilogy, which is The City of Brass. And then I had to blind pick a book for you to either read or unhaul, and for that I chose Small Angels. And then for my fifth and final pick, for you to read any book in the world, I chose Charming as a Verb. Happy reading.
Okay, so we have the stack here minus Charming as a Verb because I don't have that, but I will see if I can get it from my library. I can probably definitely get the audiobook. We'll see. We're gonna see. But wow, these are choices. I'm very excited about 7 Days in June because so many people have recommended this to me, and so many people I know love this book. But then I keep hearing that this is not a romance, and what does that mean? I am afraid and excited. Maybe if I go into this knowing that it's not a romance, I will enjoy it for what it is. I hear it's also messy, and I love mess, so sign me up. Beartown. I love Frederick Bachman. Like, he just, all of the emotions, all of the time. I don't think I've read a single book by him that I have not cried at. I haven't read like a ton, but I think the one about the grandmother, I don't think I cried, but you know, my eyes were getting misty. Will this also make me cry? I don't know. It's definitely going to be emotional. I know that this has to do with like a hockey town. Yeah, there's a little hockey dude there. It has to do with a hockey town, and something happens to a girl in this town. I think people rally around the hockey players. I don't know. You guys know that I buy books and have no idea what they're about. It said Frederick Bachman. I knew that he wrote it. I know that people like it. I think I'm gonna have a good time. Is trauma a good time? I don't know. It's a question to ask yourself. And then the fact that I have to finish this series is insane to me. I read the first book, City of Brass, in November. Was it November? I think Jess picked that for me, and I liked it. Not so much the first part. The last part, yes. So I'm hoping that Kingdom of Copper and Empire of Gold, what order they go in, I don't know. I'll figure it out because I've got to read it. I was immediately annoyed with myself for not having these books ready when I was finished with City of Brass. Any other time, I would buy a series in full without having read the first page of the first book. And this time I was like, no, I'll just buy the first book because what if I don't like it? And then I did like it and I wanted to immediately finish. But I bought these for me for Christmas as a gift so that I could finish. And here we are. I was not expecting to finish this so soon, but we're gonna do it. You know, I'm hearing very mixed things about the last book. I had people questioning me about my love for Dara. I hope that doesn't change. People are also telling me that I'm gonna love Ali, and I'm gonna tell y'all, no. But I guess we'll find out. And then Small Angels. It's funny because every time I see this on my shelf or like on my list of books that I own or whatever, I always say Small Angels. I don't even know why. My brain just will not say angels. And so here we are, Small Angels. Do I know what this is about? Kind of, there's like some woods. There's some creepy shit happening in the woods. That's really all I know. But I am intrigued because if Monet DNF'd this at 100 pages, how many pages is in this before I commit? Okay, it's almost 400 pages. For Charming as a Verb, sounds very cute. I had not heard of it until just now, but sounds very cute, and definitely very lighter in tone compared to all of the other things that I'm reading. Will this month be a good reading month? I don't know. We're gonna find out together. But thank you, Monet, for choosing these books for me. I think. Do I have some other reading plans? I think Ray and I are gonna try to buddy read the second book in, I don't know the name of the series, but the first book was Arsenic and Adobo. So she gifted me the second book for Christmas, and so I think we're gonna try to buddy read that. And then I also have like another book that I need to read for a book club that I'm in. I think we're reading Atomic Habits. That should be nothing. I'll knock that out. Hopefully I'll learn about a habit or two, or how to establish them and keep them. But I guess we should get this going, huh? Hello, hi. So funny story. I kind of forgot that I was vlogging. So have I been reading this month? Yes. Have I been vlogging any of it? No. So we're just gonna do a really quick catch up to see where we are. I started off by reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. I made it about 50% of the way in, and I don't care anymore. Like, there are some really good nuggets in here about creating small, changeable habits. Because, you know, normally it's the new year. Everyone's like, I'm going to change this, and this. And then, like, they're so big that it's almost impossible to accomplish. But, like, if you break them down into bite-sized little pieces, then you can do it. And then, you know, not demonizing the habits that we have, but just changing them so that they're better for us and actually help us achieve the overall goal that we want to accomplish. Ultimately, I'm just bored, and so I think I'm gonna quit. I'm supposed to be reading this for a conversation that I'm having with a group of friends later on this month, but I think if I skim it, I'll have the gist. And then I picked up Kingdom of Copper, which I did finish. So that update will come soon. I'm hoping that I like the ending of Empire Gold, because everyone keeps saying like they like the first and second one. Or not everyone, but I hear a lot of people say that they like the first one and then they'll like the second one, but the third one is really hit or miss. And then I was reading Homicide and Hollow Hollow with Ray. We read this. It was so fast. So this is the second in the Tita Rosie's Kitchen series, and you're following Leela. In the first book, her ex-boyfriend dies, and they are blaming her and her family's restaurant for like poisoning him because he was a douche, and you know, they're thinking like she was trying to get revenge on him. In this one, Leela is a pageant because she was the previous pageant winner. And so now she's back as a judge, and someone comes up dead. You know, the homicide part. There's no surprise there. And so Leela and her friends and her band of aunties get together and try to solve the mystery of this homicide. It was a fun ride. I will say that Leela is actually a very annoying character to me because she's been going through something, but even prior to that, even in the first book, she is a terrible communicator. And like, she's thinking all of these things, and people are asking her questions like, you know, what's wrong? And, or instead of just communicating like why she can't do something, she just goes ghost or stays quiet, and then the person is mad at her, and then she's like, well, they shouldn't be mad at me. Yeah, girl, they should be mad at you because you won't just say what's wrong with you so that you guys can have an open dialogue and talk about it. She's so annoying. And then like there is love interests that she has, and like I guess at this time she's not in a space where she can be with like a person, or I don't know whether it's that she can't be or she doesn't want to be. Either way, she has these love interests, and she gets jealous every time that they have an interaction with someone else. She's like, why? You know, like if you wanted to be with them, they would be with you, but you don't want to be with them, so you cannot be jealous that they are trying to be with somebody else. Very frustrating to me. But overall, I'm enjoying the the overallness of it. I think I gave this like 3.5. I'm definitely gonna read the next one, which is something and something. I am a great booktuber, but I will read the third book. I just don't have it. I think Ray and I are gonna buddy read that one too. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was funny. I loved the other characters in it. Yeah, I was gonna say I like Leela, but I don't really like her as much as I don't mind her as the vehicle for which we tell this story. But would I be friends with her? No. Would I be business partners with her? Never in life. Yeah, but I would say read this. It was good. I don't know that I liked it more than Arsenic and Adobo. The twist of this, I was just like, I had my theories on who I thought it was. I didn't have any proof for my theories. I'm just gonna lay that out. I was just like, this is the person, and I was sticking with it. And then when I found out who it was, I was like, oh my God, how did we get here? And it was so fun. So yeah, I definitely recommend this. It was fun to read, and it was really fast. So now for something a little more current, where we are now. Like I told you, I'm in the middle of Empire of Gold. I'm listening to it, and I'm reading 7 Days in June. And I'm going into this. I already know that this is not a romance. So already knowing that makes this just so much better. Because I think if I went in thinking like this was going to be a romance, I would be like, okay. This is full of trauma from like the very first chapter. Trauma for everybody. Everybody. But I am enjoying the writing. I think she's funny. I think the writing is just so like really smooth. I love it. I am enjoying the characters, even though they have a lot of issues, and they really need therapy. So let me rewind. You're flipping between two timelines, one in the present, like maybe 2019, and then another in 2004. In 2004, that's when the two people met, Eva and Shane, and then they met as teenagers, and then in 2019, they meet again as adults. Their lives have gone in different directions. They haven't seen each other in years, and they're reconnecting. Clearly something happened in 2004 that made it so memorable for them. They clearly are very connected to each other in a very emotional and traumatizing way. I haven't gotten to how yet. I'm only a little over 25% in. So yeah, I'm enjoying this. And so my plan is, it is a very chill Saturday. I don't have any plans. I was gonna go out and run errands, but it's cold, and so no. And so I think I'm just gonna stay in and finish reading. I think I could finish this probably today, or at least tomorrow for sure. And that's where I am. Not too much has happened. I read a couple of things. I haven't gone anywhere, so there's no B-roll for shit. This is my stay in the house and do nothing season. But we are gonna do something. We're gonna read 7 Days in June. Okay, so I have finished reading Kingdom of Copper. I'm just gonna say I've got 4.25, which is definitely more than I gave the first book. What did I give the first book? Like 3.75, 3.5? But this one I liked way more. It was way more fast-paced, and I got a better feel for the characters. Dare I say it, I even have come around to Ali, where he was a secondary character in his own chapters. He has come more to the forefront, and he has become someone that I care about their journey and where they're going. I hate that for myself, because I was a stone cold Ali hater. And I still stand by that, because in book 1, he was the worst. He's so annoying, insufferable. Also, you know who is feeling a little bit secondary character-ish? Nari. In her own, I was gonna say in her own book, because I guess it's not technically just about her, but it's kind of about her. And she's become like a secondary character where she's just becoming the vehicle for like Mutadir's and Ali's issues. Siblings, am I right? The first one starts off really very, very slow, then picks up in the like last 20-25% of the book. This one, action, like majority of the book. The pacing was well done. I enjoyed everyone's stories. I wasn't sure where we were gonna come from. You know, in the end of the first book, everyone was kind of scattered. And I was like, how are we gonna make our way back to each other? We can't figure all of this out if we're separate. And who's dead? Who's alive? I didn't know. And, you know, obviously now I do know. But if you left the first one thinking, man, I could do with some more mommy issues, do I have the book for you? Nothing but mother issues just all up and through this. I think whether you've been abandoned or whether you have regrets about how you treated your mother, or, you know, you just wish you had a better relationship with your mom, it's in here. We've got it all. I will say the one thing that I not disliked, but I wish were different was I felt a little bit disconnected from Dara in this one. He wasn't as prominent of a figure as he was in the first ones, and I don't know, I just feel like I want more Dara. I mean, you know, Dara has my heart. I just don't know that I like the direction that we're going in with this. You know, I don't like who he's become friends with and whose side he's on, even though I understand why he's on their side, but also, like, I feel like you can't just blindly follow people just because of historical reasons. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the plan. That's not the move here, Dara. That's where we are with Kingdom of Copper, 4.25 stars. I'm very, very excited for the last book. I'm gonna pick it up immediately since I'm done with this one. Have I been doing anything else? No. It's been cold and I don't like the cold, so I've just been inside with Blair. So that's the update on Kingdom of Copper, and I'll be back with my update for Empire of Gold because I'm going to go start it immediately. Is it Sunday night? No. Did it take me a few days? Yes, because I took a nap. And that means that I did not read for days. Mind your business. Anyway, I finished 7 Days in June. I have thoughts, I have feelings. What do I give this? As a romance, I give this a 2. It's a terrible romance. But as a story about two very tragic people who keep running into each other in two separate timelines and are connected to each other in a certain way, a 4. I loved the writing. Tia Williams is a great writer. She really evokes feelings. You can really get into the characters. I even cared about a very side character who had this much time, but I cared about him. I'm so sad. You know, she writes fantastically. The characters were great. Now here's my thing. Has been said like this is an example of Black love, and this is just trauma. Every turn of the page is just one more trauma after another, and I need all of these people to go to therapy like immediately, quick and in a hurry. Shane and Eva, in their past, they spend 7 drug-fueled days together, and I'm not invalidating their love for each other, but I do question whether there's already a few factors, because you know when you're like 17, everything is a big deal. Love is just this big, huge, explosive feeling, right? And then you're just gonna add drugs and alcohol on top of it. So like, was it real? Did you guys really feel these things for each other? How well do you know each other? And then you jump 15 years to the present, and you know, all of these feelings that you felt that were big and wild as a 17-year-old come crashing back to you in your like 30s. Still, what more do you know about each other except that you both had very traumatic backstories and upbringings? Like, you don't know much about each other more than like you two are two very hurt individuals trying to clutch onto each other and love each other. And like, that's the basis of your relationship. Now, it seems all fun and like a whirlwind romance. Like, you know, we just fell in love for 7 days and here we are falling in love for 7 days again. But like, what do you really know about each other besides the past? And I mean, I guess this could be a real thing for someone, maybe, I don't know. But what I do know is that these two people need therapy and that they probably should not be together until they have worked out some of their own issues. Shane is trying to be a Captain Save-A-Ho for everybody, and you know, it's clearly not the best coping mechanism for him. Eva is dealing with her own disability. I don't know, I just feel like, I don't think that Eva was going to change. I don't think that there was much in the way that she was going to, that would be different for her to change, because everything that was happening was her way of coping with her illness. And then, but Shane, he really did need therapy. This man really needed to go talk to somebody. I liked the characters separately. I wouldn't even mind them developing a relationship over time if this were something that we would look at over time. But I do think that therapy is in high order here. Like I said, I'm giving this a 4. I enjoyed it. It was a good read, but if you go into this with the intention that this is just two people super loving, which it is, two people super loving each other, yes, but a romance, it is not. A story about tragic upbringings that are bringing people together, a trauma bond, if you will, and seeing how those people take their trauma and become the adults that they are. I think that was interesting to see. But them being together, it didn't do it for me. And there were several times I wanted Eva to cuss Shane out, and she didn't. She didn't. I was mad about it. Also, there's a friend in here. Her name is Cece. She's nosy and she needs to mind her business. She needs to stop plotting to get people together and doing things and go on and do something else. But I still had a good time with this. I don't know what that says about me and as a reader, as what I like to see from my characters. Tragedy, heartbreaking people. It is messy. It is an emotional roller coaster. Lots of feelings were had. But I would read it again. I don't know that I would read it again. Fast forwarding, I'm almost done with Empire of Gold, so that update will be coming soon. And so I'm gonna finish that, and I think I'm going to move on to Beartown. Another update. I either had to read or unhaul Small Angels, and I think I'm gonna unhaul it. I originally thought I was gonna read it, but the more I sit with it, the more I'm just not interested. The fact that I keep calling it Small Angles in my mind, which doesn't even make sense because it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna unhaul it and not read it. I'm really flying through this TBR. I still have Charming as a Verb. These are my last 2 books, and I think I'm gonna get them done in like the next week or so. I should be done with Empire of Gold by tomorrow, and that's the update. Yesterday I started Beartown, and so far I don't have a lot to say about it. It's slow going. I think we're getting used to the characters. There's a lot of characters, a lot of point of views. I'm not sure why. I'm hoping that it'll all come with some kind of reason at some point. But yeah, there's not a lot to say about Beartown. But that's not why we are really here. We are here for this update. We are here for the update on Empire of Gold. I have finished it. Wow. After a ride that was the Kingdom of Copper, I think I'm gonna land on like a 3.75 for Empire of Gold. This series has had so many highs and lows. Let's get into it. So I can't really say what happens because it's the 3rd book in a series, but more mommy issues, a a lot of family issues, so many family secrets, so many. It was just like every other chapter, a new family secret would pop up, to the point I was like, are there any more family secrets left? There can't be. We've run the gamut of family secrets. Everybody's got a secret. You get a secret, you get a secret, everybody gets a secret. And it was starting to get exhausting. I'm not gonna lie. Like, why is there a secret for everything? I'm really disappointed in the Dara arc. I'm pretty unsatisfied with his ending. Like, I just felt like we need more for him. I would like more for him. The relationships in here, I don't like the way that they played out. Nothing felt like it concluded to me. I have really grown to like Ali. I didn't think I was gonna say that ever, but I've really grown to like him. And as he was coming into his own and started questioning his beliefs and, you know, why he believes what he believes and so like passionately, I appreciated that. Do I like his ending? Not particularly. It was also weird for me because I felt like Dara and Ali's roles kind of reversed from the first to the third book, where like Ali was, he was the vehicle for everyone else. In this one, that's what it felt like. It felt like Dara, his chapters were not about him. They were about like everyone else around him and what was going on with them. And I didn't like that. I want more Dara. That's what I'm really trying to say. I want more Dara. Also, like the last half of the book, it just really, it didn't quite go off the rails, but like what was going on? We threw every like left turn that we could in there. Just, for what? For what, Shannon? Not that there had to be like a straight line towards the finish line, but like we just took all of the turns to get there, all of the twists, on top of the family secrets. And I just, for what? It didn't add anything to the story for me. I gave it 3.75 because I liked how it fit into the overall series. But I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. It's not the ending that I would have wanted. And it took so long to get to the ending that I didn't want that I'm not particularly happy about it. I think I just want it better. I want it better and I want it more for everybody. So that was Empire of Gold. I finished a series. In January already, we are one series down. So many more to go. So I guess I'll just continue on reading Beartown and welcome to an update. This has been the most boring vlog I've probably ever done. I'm so sorry. This did not do the beautiful and vibrant Monet justice. I wanted to give an update. I only have like 100 or so pages left and I'm really liking it. I was concerned in the beginning because we were following so many point of views and I was just like, where's all of this going? And it was a slow kind of build up to the thing that we all know happens. Honestly, the pace doesn't change. It's slow throughout the whole thing. But if you're reading Frederick Bachman for intense, fast-paced, story, you're never gonna get that in anything that he writes. But I will say that the slow pace does make sense. It's very deliberate in what he's trying to convey. All of the emotions, you need to spend time with each of the characters because while they're all a part of this hockey town, they all come to hockey with their own feelings and backgrounds, oppressions in some cases. It really makes for, you know, seeing how they react to the news of the sexual assault that breaks. You see it actually happen on page, so be aware of that. But the reactions of everyone involved is just so detailed, and you really get how like this affects the whole town and not just one person. Like the news just kind of broke, and so you're kind of getting everyone's initial reactions. They're shocked. They're not really sure what's going on. But I am curious to see like what side everyone falls on. Clearly you have the victim, she has a side, and then you have the star hockey player. And it's like, who do you side with, and what's your reason for siding for them? Because like there are some parents who, you know, they're like hardcore hockey parents, but it's like if the star player is out, your son could have the opportunity to become the star player. So do you root for the demise of the star hockey player, or do you root for him to like, I'm not rooting for him, I'm just saying from like the idea of a hockey parent, do you like root for him to, you know, be acquitted of all these charges so that they can get back to playing hockey and be business as usual? I don't know. It's a good question. I can't wait to see where this goes. I'm also curious how this drags out into 3 books, because I feel like this could just get wrapped up into one unless like the next book is just the full-on aftermath of everything that happens, and then the 3rd book is, I don't know, where are they now? Because I cannot see how this can continue on for 3 books. I'm just, I feel like you can wrap this up in the next 100 pages or so, but we shall see. I kind of hope I get a completed feeling once I read this, because it would be terrible to add another series to my list of series that I need to read. On to some other things. I started Charming as a Verb on audio, and I got about 4% in, and then I realized I have to read this physically because the audiobook is not it. There was no way the narrator was selling me on being a Black kid from New York, from a Haitian family. He sounded like a white guy in his 20s from like Connecticut. And I was just like, I cannot take this seriously. I was actually laughing because it was just so bad. However, I did need an audiobook to listen to. So I had an arc of The Spite House by, I don't remember who it's by, name will be here or something. So I had an arc of that from NetGalley, and I started reading that. I'm on 14% and I am having a good time so far. Like, it is giving me the Good House feels by Tanana Reeve, which was something that I loved, and it was one of my most favorite books of last year. But The Spite House, so far what I've gathered, there's this guy, Eric. He's on the run with his 2 daughters. I'm not sure why. We don't know yet. But something happened in Maryland. He left his wife, he left his like high-paying job, and took his daughters, and they're fleeing through the South. I think currently they're in Texas. He's getting odd jobs just to make ends meet. They're staying in like seedy hotels to like stay below the radar. I cannot wait to find out what they're on the run from. What's going on is he just found an ad in the newspaper for a really strange job to stay at this house for like 2 weeks, I think, and then the pay is like 6 figures if they can stay in the house and record everything that happens for those 2 weeks. Now, the ad in the paper does say that there is some paranormal activity, so he is well aware that some spooky shit might happen. And so I want to know what the spooky shit is. Also, like his daughter, I don't know if it's both of his daughters, but I know for sure the youngest daughter has like some kind of ability where if somebody says her name, then she can like see them. She can also maybe see ghost. I'm not sure exactly what it is that she was seeing, because she made a gift for a little girl. The little girl said her name in her prayers to thank her. And then later that night, the daughter, Stacy, she was able to see the little girl talking to some kind of malevolent spirit that was trying to trick the girl into going someplace with this spirit. I think like Stacy was just thinking like, if you earn the gift that I gave you, the spirit will go away. But of course the little girl doesn't know that, because why would she know that? And so I'm curious, there's a lot of little things happening. You've got the intrigue with what's happening with Eric in his past, why he left, why he took his daughters, where's his wife? Did he kill his wife? Is she dead? I don't know why this just occurred to me. just right now. Revelations in this vlog, minute by minute. You know, what's happening with him, what's going on with Stacy and her powers, what's gonna happen at this paranormal house in this very weird town where like no one is allowed to talk about this house. That's what I've also gathered so far. Like I kind of have like chillish plans for this weekend. It's the last weekend in January, so I want to kind of get things together. I have a little bit of work to do before I can call it quits for the day and go to a hair appointment, which is much needed. You see this. Got sprints with Ray on Sunday, so I'm for sure going to get some reading done. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Good morning, afternoon. Anywho, I have to get ready for brunch because I'm going to go to brunch and then to the movies with my friend, but I wanted to give you guys an update because this morning I finished Beartown, and then yesterday I made it to 50% of the Spite House, and I have thoughts, I have feelings, so we're gonna get ready while I like tell you guys things. So last night I was listening to Spite House, and yeah, it's definitely giving me the Good House vibes because I was legit scared. I was like listening to it, and then I was just like, I cannot listen to this at night because I'm freaking out. So that was fun. So yeah, basically, I think at one point in the story, the daughter says something like, you know, why is the Spite House so skinny? It looks like it hasn't eaten. And then I think that was foreshadowing because I think the house is like eating the people that stay there or that will like be in that house. Not like actually eating them, but like maybe sucking their spirits out of them so that the house stays alive. I'm not really sure why. The owner of the house is very secretive, obviously, because she's luring these people here to the house. But I think it has something to do with like maybe if the house stays fed, then she won't die a horrible death. And then the father, he has his own secrets. And I am just so lost. I'm not like lost, but I'm curious where this is all going because like I told you the youngest daughter has some kind of supernatural ability where she can see ghosts, or I don't even know if she can commune with ghosts, but like she can definitely see them for sure. And I'm just like, how is this all playing in? How did she get this ability? So at this point, I know that the family knows that she can talk to ghosts because there's like a scene where they're staying at the house and they're all kind of like telling like the ghost, you can come fuck with me if you want, but you don't want these hands. I feel like we're gonna find out that these two family histories like connect somehow. I don't know how, but I think that's what's gonna happen. Doing makeup and trying to tell you guys about what I read, it's very hard. Anyway, the house was scary as fuck and I was scared, and at one point I was in my bathroom and I turned off the lights, but I was like still standing in the doorway and I just felt creeped out. I was like, I can't listen to this anymore because I'm scared. And then last night, after I decided to stop re-listening to the Spite House, I picked up Beartown. I thought I was going to finish it last night, but I didn't. I don't know why I always lie to myself and tell myself that I'm a faster reader than I am. I'm not. I was reading Beartown and I finished it this morning, and I think I'm going to settle at like a 4.5 because the first half I was concerned. It was very slow going. There were so many point of views that I was just like, why are we interested in any of these people? I mean, I get it. Some of them are hockey players, some of them are parents, and then, you know, some of them are just people in the town. But they're all connected to hockey and Beartown in some way. And so I didn't fully enjoy it, but we get to as we're creeping to the halfway mark, I'm like, all right, I'm starting to get it. And so then there's the sexual assault that happens, and from there, that's when shit really pops off. Not pops off in a fast way. The book is slow throughout the whole time. So if you're looking for something fast-paced, this is not it. After the sexual assault is divulged to like the entire community, then people start drawing lines and they have to make decisions like, are they team before individual, or are they gonna stand up for what's right versus like knowing deep down what's wrong, especially when you have such a deep connection with someone that you know did something wrong. I wasn't thinking it was gonna happen, but he did it. He made me cry. At the very end, he got me. Frederick Bachman got me. It doesn't have like a super happy ending where everyone is happy with the ending. I mean the characters. Everyone's not gonna be happy with the way that it ends because, you know, some people just don't get what they want. And I think that even knowing all of the point of views that happened in the beginning, I think it makes a lot more sense at the end as you finally see where everyone's going to fall on this issue. Man, it was heavy for sure, and it was so heartbreaking seeing the parents just feel like they were not protecting their children in some kind of way, or the kids were super mature for what I thought 15, 16, and 17-year-old kids would be like in this situation. Overall, I really liked Beartown. I was skeptical at first. I wasn't sure where we were going in terms of like likability with it, but I really did end up enjoying it. I'll say that I don't feel compelled to read the rest of the series. Like, I felt like the ending was good enough for me. Like, I'm not like, it doesn't end on a cliffhanger where you're just like, oh my God, I cannot wait to see what happens next to these people. I saw what I needed to see, and that's enough for me. And so I think that I'm just gonna call it a one and done. I'm not gonna add it to like series I need to finish or anything. Like, maybe if one day in life I feel like I want to pick it up or read it, I will, but I doubt it. Is there anything else to say about Beartown? I don't think so. Frederick remains to be one of my favorite authors. He did not disappoint. I was worried in the first half, but he really brought it home. You know, I'm glad that Monet chose this for me because it's been on my shelves for so long and I don't know why I haven't gotten to it, but I'm glad that I finally read it and I can just add it to like, I think I may add it to like my little Frederick Bachman section on my bookshelf. But yeah, I'm going out to brunch, then I'm going to the movies. I cannot read The Spite House when I get back because it'll be dark and I will be scared. And so I will probably pick up Charming as a Verb because yeah, that audiobook just was not, it was not it. And so I will be reading Charming as a Verb. I'm doing sprints with Ray and Monet tomorrow. By the time you see this, it'll already have happened, but you can always go watch it on a replay. And I know you're thinking, Robin, what did you do to your face? It looks the same as when we started, except that maybe you have on some eyeliner. Oh, do not have mascara. So glad I took this moment to check in. And you have on some lip gloss. And to that I say, this is my makeup routine. You do your makeup routine. And if you want to see someone serving looks, go watch Monet's channel because she always looks fantastic. It is, what is today? Today is February 1st. And so yesterday I wrapped up reading Charming as a Verb. I didn't really talk about it because it was so fast. I read it over like 2 days. Here's the thing. I ended up listening to it because I talked so much shit about the audiobook narrator, and I still stand by it because he was not giving me Black American teen at all. And in fact, there was like one line in there and it said something about like, I don't know, it said something about a Negro, and I was just like, hold on. But like he breezed by that so fast. Like it just, that's why I had to go look in the actual book to see like if that's actually what it said. Well, yeah, but I did not have like sit down and read time. So I just needed to listen to it on audiobook because I wanted to have it done by the 31st. And by the 31st, I did. So I finished this TBR. You're so gung-ho about like making those goals for yourself and like achieving them, so you start off really strong. And I think that's what happened, which is probably the perfect mindset that I needed for this TBR, because there were some heavy hitters in here. I had to finish out a whole series. And so let's just do a quick recap. You know, this is my too long didn't watch version of everything that came before it. I just realized I think I'm back in the same shirt I was at the beginning of this vlog. And it's well into, it's February at this point. And I'm still gonna wear this fucking sweater because it's soft and comfy and it's everything that I ever wanted. So Monet graciously picked my TBR for me this month. Not only did she pick my TBR, but she used her own prompts from her TBR jar. For the first prompt, it was to read a book in the country that I live in, the US, and so she picked 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Wow, did I have thoughts on this? I'm going to settle at 4 stars for this. I had a very good time with this. My reading experience was great, you know, but the topic is heavy. And I don't know if they were having a good time, if you know what I mean, but I certainly was. So you're following 2 people, Eva and Shane. They met when they were teenagers, and they had a very brief encounter with each other, which was very intense and full of teenage emotions and just love. And then things happen where they don't see each other for a long time. And then they see each other again sometime later, and all of these feelings come back. I don't say that this is a romance. It has a love story element for sure. I don't know, I just wouldn't characterize this as a romance. This is like, I don't know what to label this as, but it's not a romance. And if I see this on anybody's black love list for February, I'm gonna be upset about it. Just, I don't care. I love the representation of invisible disabilities. You know, Eva is dealing with that in this book, and I think that she actually does a pretty good job dealing with the pain that she has. I feel like maybe she should have asked for some help every once in a while, but you know, it can be hard for people to ask help. Shane, on the other hand, Shane really needs some therapy, okay? I don't know that I would be rooting for them, only because I would want them to get some help for themselves first before embarking on trying to be fully all in on this relationship that is not really grounded on a whole lot of anything, if I'm gonna be honest. It's grounded on a few days together spent as teenagers with some very crazy circumstances. So I'm just like, do y'all really like each other, love each other, or is this just some imaginative thing that you guys have been romanticizing for all of these years? I will say I love Tia Williams' writing style. She made me laugh so many times, and I did enjoy the story overall. And then Monet had me choose a book in a series, and that was Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I think I'm gonna give this 4.25 stars. It was very slow going, as most of his stuff has been. So this, you're following different people in a town, Beartown. It's a hockey town. They're very into hockey, and all their hopes and dreams are really pinned on this one team, and especially like its star player. So obviously this team can do no wrong. Any and all escapades that are done by them just swept under the rug until there is an incident with involving a sexual assault in a girl, and then everything gets flipped upside down and loyalties are tested, and people have to start questioning what's right and what's wrong and what they would do in the face of trying to rectify what's right and what's wrong. And I thought this was phenomenal. In the beginning, I was very concerned because it was so slow, and I was just like, why there's so many point of views? Why should we care about any of these people? And then as soon as you find out like the incident, then you start to understand why all of these people and their perspectives matter. But I think that this wrapped up so well for me that I don't feel the need to continue on with the rest of the series. Maybe there will come a time where I'm like, I have to read every single Frederick Bachman that ever exists. And so obviously I would read those. But as for now, I think I'm good. And I can move on to something else like Anxious People, or reread every morning the way gets longer and longer so that my heart can just be broken in like 100 pages. Then Monet had me finish out a series. And so this was a series I started in November when Jess chose City of Brass for me. So this is the Daevabad trilogy. And then I read Kingdom of Copper, Empire of Gold. So I ended up giving Kingdom of Copper like 4.25, and I gave Empire of Gold 3.75. Overall, as a series, as a complete series, I really did enjoy this. It was a great, fantastical ride. Kingdom of Copper definitely was the more interesting ride for me, even though it was the middle of a series, which very rarely happens. Book 2 is always very hit or miss, and mostly miss. But Kingdom of Copper, it did it for me. Whereas City of Brass was just so slow in the beginning and then really ramped up at the end and left with like a cliffhanger where you're like, what's happening? Kingdom of Copper kept that what's happening, that fast-pacedness throughout the whole entire thing. And this, I can't believe I'm going to say this. This is what made me start to like Ollie. He started to come into his own, really question why he believes what he believes so much. You know, he became the main character of his own story, and I love that for him. He really came into his own, and even Nari started to come into her own, and she seemed a little bit more self-assured and like she knew what she was doing, kind of, in this book. Dara, I was less satisfied with Dara's overall arc in the whole series. And not because it made me love Dara any less. It was just, it felt so lackluster. Like he was almost an afterthought in the rest of the series compared to what he was in City of Brass. And then we get to Empire of Gold, or as I would like to call this, Everybody's Got a Family Secret. And I was like, at some point, y'all, we got to stop with these fake out surprises. Like, come on, just get on with the story. And I think that's why I gave this 3.75. It just did not have the conclusion that the other two books built up to, and it just kind of let me down a little bit. And then the relationships at the end of this felt unfinished. In a way, there was like this big romance brewing between two of the characters, and then at some point in, I want to say Kingdom of Copper, it fizzled out, you know, for reasons. People thought other people were not around, and then like you find out that this person that you had strong feelings for is back, and then just it leads to nothing. It's just like, oh, all right, and I just and then like new relationships were like brewing, but they just didn't feel real. It felt forced. But I did finish that series, and so one series down for 2023. And then for the prompt of I need to read or unhaul, she chose Small Angels by Lauren something or other, Lauren Owen. And yeah, I just went ahead and unhauled it. Monet read this and DNF'd after like 100 or so pages. And so as I was going through these books and some of the other things that I read, I was just like, I don't care about this at all. And at this very moment, without reading the synopsis, I cannot tell you what this is about. And so I didn't even attempt it. I'm just gonna go ahead, unhaul this. So then Monet had to pick a book for me, any book, and she chose for me Charming as a Verb by Ben Philippe. And I appreciated this because it was the palate cleanser that I needed. It was the very last book that I read for January, and it was needed after I had read all of the heavy things that I read. I ended up giving this 3 stars. YA contemporaries don't really do it for me these days. I appreciated that it took no brain cells for this. In Charming as a Verb, you're following Henry, who is Black American teen. His parents are Haitian, and so they really have all these hopes for the American dream on Henry and that he'll be successful. And so he kind of carries around this weight of being like this successful kid for his parents, right? And so while he is in a school with mostly rich, wealthy kids. He lives in a building that is occupied by wealthy people. Meanwhile, his circumstances are not the same as that. And so he's in this world, and so all he thinks that he has is his charm, his wit, his personality. And so he uses that to really get what he needs out of life. And then he's running this dog walking business. Little does any of the pet owners know, he is actually the owner, the employee, the everything of this company. Someone finds out his secret and she uses it to her advantage. Her name is Corinne, and she wants to be like less intense. And so she blackmails Henry in a way to teach her how to be less intense, because she doesn't want this black mark to be a blemish and a reason why she doesn't get into her dream school. And Henry is like, all right, well, I don't want anyone to know about this secret of mine, and I really need this money. And as he's also trying to get into Columbia. So, you know, senior year, the stress. And so as he's trying to help her de-intensify, and she is trying to help him get into Columbia, you know, things escalate between the two. It was cute. It was fluffy. It was what I needed after crying from Beartown and after being scared out of my mind by reading The Spite House. I appreciate it. So those are all of my picks for Monet, and I was so happy to have read them all. Beyond Monet's choices, I read a few other things. In the beginning of the month, I started reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is how to change those big goals that you want and break them down into smaller habits so that it's not so that your goals feel manageable, and that you develop habits that you're successful in keeping. I actually ended up DNFing this because it just wasn't giving me anything new or that I didn't know. There were like a couple of nuggets here and there where I was just like, oh, that's interesting, but not enough to keep me interested throughout the rest of the book. So I ended up DNFing it. And then I was buddy reading Homicide in Halo Halo by Mia P. Manansala. I was reading this with Ray. This is the second book in the Tita Rosie's Kitchen series. I think I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. In this particular one, Lila is trying to start this bakery slash coffee house slash something else maybe with her friends, but she's also a judge for a pageant. And then things start to get a little weird with the pageant. They get some mysterious notes, people start getting injured, and so Lila is like, I need to investigate, I need to figure out what's going on. And so, you know, hijinks ensue, because she's not a police officer, she's not an investigator, she's just a regular old person who bakes. The food always sounds really good. One day I really am going to try one of the recipes in the back of the book. While I like the overall story of it, the ridiculousness of it, as someone who watches Lifetime movies regularly, I can go with it. I can believe that she is solving these crimes. I don't need that. But what's very annoying is Lila herself. She is so annoying. I know that she has gone through something in the first book which causes her to be very cautious of her surroundings, to be very weary of people, which I think you should be, especially considering what she went through in the first book. But there are things that have nothing to do with what happened to her in the first book that I just wanted to be like, use your words. Like, her friends would be like, you are not talking to us, what's going on? And instead of saying the things, using her words, she'll just be like, oh no, I'm fine, everything's okay. But it's like, no, everything's not okay. And you're actually being very annoying by not saying whatever the issue is. Like, girl, go to therapy. Honestly, seriously. People in the book tell her to go to therapy, and I think that she should listen to them. That said, I don't like Lila as a main character, but I do enjoy the stories that happen, so I will definitely be reading the next one. I think Ray and I are going to try to buddy read the next one. Then I listened to The Spite House by Johnny Compton. I had an arc from NetGalley, and so I listened to that. It was about this guy, Eric, and he is on the run with his 2 daughters, and you're not really sure why in the beginning, why they're on the run, what's going on, why they're being so secretive. He takes under the table gigs so that he can just get some money so that they can stay from seedy hotel to seedy hotel. They never stay in one place too long in case somebody tries to catch up with them. Until one day he sees an ad in the paper to be a tenant at this place in Texas. In the ad, it says right away, this place is haunted. There's no like guessing whether the house is haunted. It tells you right up front. And Eric is like, bet, I can do this for, I think it's like 2 weeks. He's like, I can do this for 2 weeks. I can get them the information that they need, because the payout is in the 6 figures, and like the high 6 figures. So he's like, I can do this. I can get this money for me and my family, and then we can set ourselves up with a new life and stop being on the run. So Eric has his own secrets about why he is the perfect person for this job. And the owner of the house, which is called the Spite House, also has her secrets why she needs someone to stay in that house and collect information on the paranormal activity that happened. I'm gonna tell you, I was super excited to start reading this because it was giving me The Good House by Tanana Reevdu, which was one of my favorite books of 2022. And so I was very excited to read this. Haunted houses, ghosts, love it all. And so as I'm reading this, I'm having a good time until I wasn't. It wasn't until maybe 60% of the way in that things just, you weren't getting answers for some of the questions that you had. And I felt like at the end, some of those things never were really answered. And they were questions that kind of are important and essential to the story. Yeah, the ending was just a little bit of a disappointment for me. So this is going to be a 3.25 stars for me. Again, the beginning was so strong. The mystery around the house was very compelling. Trying to understand the family history between the owner of the house and then Eric and his family and why they were on the run. Like understanding that history and the reasons why were very interesting. But ultimately, it just did not come together. So that was my January. I read a lot of things. I didn't do a lot of things. So this vlog is a little dry. We're here for the books, right? And that's what I have for you guys today. And so have you guys read any of these things? Did you like them? Did you not like them? Do you have any recommendations for me? I'm always here for recommendations based on anything that I liked or maybe things that I didn't like. So let me know. Let's talk down in the comments below, and until next time, bye.